What if I told you that the very thing you've been relying on, motivation, is secretly setting you up for failure? Think about it. You wake up one morning feeling unstoppable. You write down your goals, hit the gym, start that new project, and it feels like nothing can get in your way. But a week later, the fire is gone. The alarm rings and you don't feel like moving. The project sits untouched. The goals gather dust. Sound familiar? That's because motivation is a fragile fuel. It burns hot, but it burns out fast. And most people live their entire lives chasing that spark, never realizing there's something far more powerful and far more reliable than motivation. In this video, we're going to break down why motivation always fails you, and more importantly, what actually works. You'll discover the hidden mechanics of discipline, the psychology of lasting change, and practical tools you can use to rewire your brain for consistency, even when you don't feel like it. So if you've ever wondered why you can't seem to stay motivated, stick around, because the truth might just flip your entire approach to success upside down. Motivation is often romanticized as this magical force that pushes us into action. We picture it as a surge of energy, that sudden aha moment when everything feels possible. But in reality, motivation is nothing more than an emotional state, a temporary spark born from excitement, desire, or fear. It's like a wave. One moment it rises, carrying you forward with intensity, and the next it crashes, leaving you stranded on the shore. That's why you can feel inspired to conquer the world at midnight, only to wake up the next morning hitting the snooze button 5 times. Motivation is fleeting. It depends on your mood, your environment, even your hormones. And here's the trap. Most people wait for motivation before they act. They believe they need to feel ready to start. But waiting for motivation is like waiting for perfect weather. You might get a good day here and there, but you'll never build a reliable future on something so unpredictable. So if motivation is fragile and unreliable, then what's the alternative? Motivation doesn't disappear by accident. It's wired into how your brain functions. You see, the human brain is designed to seek comfort and avoid pain. Motivation is simply the brain's way of rewarding you with a burst of dopamine when something feels new, exciting, or rewarding. That's why the start of a new goal feels electrifying. You're fueled by novelty. But as soon as the excitement fades and the task becomes routine, dopamine drops. Suddenly, the thing that once felt thrilling now feels heavy, boring, or even pointless. Think about it. How many times have you started a new workout plan, journal, or business idea with full energy, only to lose steam after the honeymoon phase ends? That's not because you're lazy or broken. It's because your brain naturally resists sustained effort without immediate reward. Motivation, then, is like a spark plug. It can start the engine, but it can't keep the car running. To keep moving, you need something beyond dopamine rushes. You need systems, habits, and a framework that keeps you on track even when you don't feel like it. Motivation fails because it was never designed to be a long-term strategy. It's a survival mechanism, not a success mechanism. Our ancestors needed quick bursts of energy to hunt, to escape danger, or to seize opportunity. But once the threat or reward was gone, so was the drive. In the modern world, this same wiring works against us. You don't need a quick burst of energy to run from a predator. You need sustained focus to build a business, discipline to train your body, or patience to master a skill. These things demand consistency, not intensity. Here's the deeper truth. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is structural. Motivation depends on how you feel in the moment. Discipline depends on the systems you've built, the identity you've chosen, and the standards you refuse to compromise. That's why athletes train on days they feel tired. That's why writers show up at their desk even when inspiration is gone. That's why disciplined people seem unstoppable. Because they don't wait for motivation, they operate from a higher framework. Motivation fails because it's a spark. Discipline works because it's the engine. So if motivation is unreliable, what actually works? The answer lies in building systems, shaping identity, and mastering discipline. First, systems over feelings. Don't wait until you feel ready. Create routines that make action automatic. If your goal is to work out, lay out your clothes the night before. If you want to read daily, keep the book on your pillow. Remove friction so action becomes the default, not the exception. Second, identity over goals. Instead of saying, I want to run a marathon, say, I am a runner. Goals live in the future, but identity lives in the present. When you attach your actions to who you are, discipline becomes natural. You don't need to feel motivated to brush your teeth, you just do it because it's part of your identity. Imagine applying that same principle to your health, your work, your growth. Third, rituals over randomness. Build small, repeatable habits that train your brain to show up no matter what. It could be writing one sentence a day, meditating for 2 minutes, or doing 5 push-ups. These micro actions anchor your behavior and create momentum, even when motivation is nowhere to be found. And here's the shift that changes everything. Stop chasing sparks and start building fires. Sparks light up the night for a moment, but fires burn steadily, giving warmth and power for as long as you feed them. Motivation is the spark. Discipline, systems, and identity. That's the fire. So the next time you catch yourself saying, I just need to get motivated, remember, you don't need motivation. You need a structure that outlasts moods, a mindset that survives doubt, and rituals that keep your engine running long after the spark is gone. That's not just how you win the day, that's how you win your life.